There are a lot of people in this world who don't believe in God, and one of the main reasons why they don't believe in God is because of the existence of evil. Think of all the evil, pain, and suffering in the world. There are things that we cannot easily attribute to anyone. Things like earthquakes, tsunamis, hurricanes, tornadoes, floods, avalanches, volcanoes, extreme heat or cold waves, certain diseases, plagues, famine, drowning, and certain kinds of choking, random phenomenon that we can't easily attribute to anyone. And what about all the things that we can attribute to people? Things like murder and rape and theft and physical and emotional abuse, certain kinds of diseases, and much more. It's very easy to view evil, pain, and suffering in a sort of detached, unemotional manner, but we have to personalize these things in order to feel the weight and the horror of them. Just imagine your loved ones being murdered or raped or stolen from. That internal sense of injustice that you would feel. That's what people feel when they think of God and realize that He didn't stop it. So once you realize just how much evil, pain, and suffering there is in the world, you're faced with a conundrum. You have to ask the following question: how can we believe in an all-good and all-powerful God? How can we affirm that there is an all-good and all-powerful God when there exists so much evil in the world? If God is all-good, then He must not be all-powerful, otherwise He could stop all the suffering. Or if God is all-powerful, He must not be all-good, since He allows it all to happen. Why does evil exist at all? The existence of evil causes, as I mentioned before, it causes secular people to not believe in God at all, or if they do believe that God exists, then they believe that He must not be involved in the creation, or He doesn't care about the creation. And quite in the opposite direction, traditional believers fall into one of two camps. One camp views that God has preordained all events, which includes all the horrible evil events that have happened. The believers in the other traditional camp don't hold that God preordained all events, but rather that before creation God foresaw all that would happen and went ahead and created the world anyway. However, if God preordained all events, or at least foresaw all events, wouldn't that mean that God is at least partially responsible for the evil that has occurred? The reality is that God would be partially responsible for evil. So in order to deal with that, people in these traditional camps usually will hold that there must be some unseen good to the evil that has occurred. That there must be some unseen or higher purpose, either to build character in us or as punishment for our sins. This view is expressed when people say things like, well, God knows what He's doing, or God's ways are not our ways. But are these satisfying explanations for why evil exists? Again, think about the horrible atrocities that happen, such as rape or child molestation or torture and murder and so on. What kind of God ordains these things to happen, or allows these to happen to serve some higher purpose or to teach us a lesson? What higher purpose or lesson is there in child molestation or rape or torture or murder? Is that really the appropriate picture to have of God? Acts that are usually attributed to evil, tyrannical dictators? So are there other factors that we need to consider in order to explain why evil exists? Yes, and in fact, these factors will allow us to conclude that evil does not need to be attributed to God at all. In fact, there is a way that you can approach the Bible in such a way to keep God righteous and blameless, and yet understand why evil happens, or at least why evil exists. Of course, it's beyond the scope of this video to get into all the details of this perspective. However, as a foundation, I can share with you what I understand to be the proper view of God, at least with regard to the problem of evil. As always, if you haven't already, click below on the subscribe link in order to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also visit youtube.com/messianicniagara, where you can view all of our videos, and click on the subscribe link there. Email us at contact@messianicniagara.com. And please visit our website at messianicniagara.com.